Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Planet Rider. About a week ago, I did a video on long distance ride planning to talk you through all the different tips and tricks and tools I use to plan my long distance rides. Well, one of the things I spoke about in that video was this magic spreadsheet of mine, which really helps us make this whole process really easy. A few of you wrote to me asking me for more details on the spreadsheet and how I've set it up and the formulas I've used and so on. So what I thought I'd do is just make a short little video to walk you through that spreadsheet in detail. And if you are kind enough to subscribe to this channel and like my video, I'm even willing to share with you a link to my Google Sheets file so you can use the spreadsheet as is. If you need a quick refresher of how I use the spreadsheet along with Google My Maps to do my long distance ride planning, the link to that video is in the description box of this video. All right, well, let's get started. First off, a quick walkthrough of the whole spreadsheet and how it's set up. On the left side are all the white cells, and those are essentially entered by you, mostly from Google My Maps. On the right side are all the gray cells, and those are all the formulas that are calculated for you. And then there's a couple of yellow cells where you actually enter information that are used in some of the formulas. All right, walking through column by column from the left, stop name and address, pretty self-explanatory. The gas, food, and sightseeing columns, I just put a little X in those just to describe what kind of a stop those are. The gas column is the most important one to use correctly. You'll see that in a second. Miles to stop and time to stop are the distance and duration of the ride from stop to stop. Those again come right from Google. The stop time is an estimate of how much time I plan to stop at that stop. Okay, onto the calculated columns. The first one, rest time, is an estimate of how much time I might rest based on how long the ride time is from stop to stop. So I have entered 10 minutes at the bottom of column J, and what that does is essentially assume that for every 1 hour of riding, I will rest for 10 minutes. So depending on how long the ride time is in between stops, it automatically calculates some rest time for me. Pretty cool. Cumulative miles and cumulative time, self-explanatory. It just adds up all the miles you've ridden to date. Cumulative time adds up all the duration of riding plus stopping from stop to stop to stop. And then arrive time is when the spreadsheet estimates you'll get to that stop. Depart time is when it estimates you will leave the stop. And then the last column, miles from last gas, it uses your little X in column D to calculate how long you've ridden without a gas stop. So again, pretty cool. Just make sure you never run out of gas. Okay. All right, now a quick walkthrough of all the number formats I use on this spreadsheet to make sure that everything works well. What I've done is I've just labeled each column with an A, B, C, or D. And down the bottom, I've just captured what formatting I use for each of those columns. So for example, for column C, arrive and depart time, that is a number format with a custom date and time, which just shows the hour, minutes, and an AM, PM. Pretty straightforward. The miles from last gas, or D in this list, has a special conditional formatting where if the number of miles exceeds what I have entered at the end of that column O, if it goes over 175 miles, it highlights it in red. That way I know to watch out that I might be running out of gas there. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right, finally, on to the actual formulas that are in this sheet. And just a reminder, I'm using Google Sheets. So, if you're using Excel or numbers, the formulas will be different, but not that different. You could probably recreate this fairly easily. Okay, so what I've done here is I have just put an A through F for each of the calculated columns. And down at the bottom, you will see an explanation of how that column is calculated, both in simple English terms as well as the actual formula that I have in that cell for Google Sheets. So for example, the rest time, as I mentioned, if my time to stop column, which is column H, is more than 60 minutes, then it adds 10 minutes, which is what I have entered in cell J14 for every hour of riding, right? As I explained earlier, and the formula is right there on the right. The cumulative miles, total miles ridden for the day, cumulative time, total duration of time on the road for the day, including all my stops. Arrive time, depart time, straightforward. It just calculates that based on all the other inputs. And then, like I said, the miles from last gas, it uses your input in column D, that little X, to calculate how many miles you've ridden from your last gas stop. And like I said, conditional formatting. If I enter 175 in cell O15, then any value more than 175 in that column turns red. It just makes it easier for you to find if you're running out of gas. And there you go, folks. It's actually that simple. You can take all these formulas and recreate this file fairly easily. Or like I said, if you're kind enough to subscribe to my channel and like my video, send me a comment and I'll be happy to send you a link to the Google Sheets file, and you can just copy it and use it exactly as it is. All right. Well, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.